If you just clicked on this video, it's probably because you're not getting the results that you've been looking for. You've been training for years, months, and you still look the same. Listen, it's not bad genetics, but you're probably making one of these mistakes. And I already know what you're thinking. You think you need PEDs or HRT, but you don't need any of that type of stuff. I'm gonna show you exactly what you need. See, most of you don't lack motivation. You lack strategy. You're working hard, but you're just not working out the right way. You see, when I first started, I thought it was all about the weight. I thought it was all about just the motivation, just moving weight and staying consistent with that. But as I got older, I started to train myself on technique, on recovery, on movement, on not just lifting the weight, but just making sure I contract the muscles, making sure I stimulate the muscles so that I can get results. And then I started to get the results that you see right here. And that's what I'm going to show you. Let's go to number one. So the first thing is progressive overload. If you're not progressive overloading in the gym, you're probably not going to see much gains. So what is actually progressive overload? Most of you know that as adding weight after each set. And that is true. That's a way that you can do it. But you also have different ways of tempo reps. You have pause reps. You have eccentric reps. You have time under tension. You have so many different ways to progressive overload. And that makes us, guess what? That makes our training not boring anymore. So instead of just doing a bench press, right? Now we can hold it for 2 seconds and then push it up, or we can go 3, 2, 1, and then explode up, or you can go 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. There's so many different ways that you can progressive overload, and this is why you can take your basic training plan and make it so much more exciting than just doing the basics every single time. So if you're not doing this in your program, using progressive overload and different training methods, you're probably gonna get bored and your muscles gonna get used to doing the same thing. You have to stay uncomfortable while you're training. And this leads us to number 2. This is what you're not doing. Training until failure. Do you know how often I want to come up to people in the gym and just say, I know you got more than what you just did. I know you got more in you, but I don't want to offend people. So if you're watching this, I hope you see it and take note of what I'm about to tell you. You cannot finish your reps with 10 more reps left in you. That's leaving all the gains on the table. You have to train until failure. What does this do? This is another way to progressive overload. This is another way to build maximum strength by fatiguing the muscle, which is gonna give you maximum muscle growth. So every time you do 10 or 12 reps, it should be the last reps that you get. Not, I did 12 or 10 or whatever your rep count is, but really you can do 6 more, 8 more, 10 more. You're never gonna get all your gains by doing that. So I don't wanna see this right here anymore. So here's some things that you should feel after your set is done. You should have some lactic acid buildup. That just means your muscles are burning. Like you can feel that afterburn once your set is over. You should be fatigued. You should be out of breath. That means you don't really want to get on your phone. You just want to sit there for a second, catch your breath, and get ready for your next set. That leads us to the recovery, right? You wait in two minutes at least, right? Let your heart rate come down so that you can perform the same way, like the same intensity, the same, failure on the next set. No matter if it's 3, 4, whatever you're doing, you want to have the same intensity throughout each and every set. This is another key to helping you get more muscle growth and more gains. I had to come into the kitchen for this one because everything I just talked about doesn't matter unless you get this part right. You probably don't want to hear this, but you're not eating enough. You see, the only way it works well when people are in a calorie deficit and still put on muscles is when they're newbies in the gym or they have a very high body fat percentage and they lift weights, and over time they can still build muscle. Now, if you're a lifter, you're a seasoned lifter, you've been lifting for a couple years and you're just not seeing the gains, it's probably because you're not eating enough and you need to be in a little bit of a surplus. Not just maintaining calories, 250 to 500 calories over what you should normally eat. And that way your muscles have something to fuel off of, like your muscles need fuel. And then you'll start to understand the more muscle you put on, the more calories you're gonna burn at rest. So it's all about about, eating quality foods, which is gonna help you build muscle and look leaner, even if you're a little bit heavier. And that leads us to our next topic. Now, this might be one of the most important things, if not the most important of them all, is your protein intake may be too low. You're like, Josh, protein is expensive. I'm tired of eating meat. Listen, protein is the only way you can build and repair muscle. Listen, there's no way around it. Now, you should be aiming for 0.7 to 1 gram per pound of body weight. What does that actually look like? Listen, my protein goal is 35% of my daily consumption. So I'm 215 pounds. I fluctuate between 215 220. And my protein goal is 225 grams. Now I have to get all of that throughout the day, and I recommend 3 to 5 meals. Listen, 5 meals sound like a lot. You can get high protein snacks and count that as a meal. Now, there are certain foods that you have to eat and some that you have to stay away from, but I'm gonna focus on the ones that you should eat, and that's lean protein. Why do I say lean? Because if you eat meats full of fat, you're gonna put on more fat, and we're trying to stay lean and build muscle at the same time. So chicken breast, all right? Talking about lean ground beef, lean ground turkey, fish. When we go steak cuts, you wanna get the leanest steak. You don't wanna get steaks full of fat because you're gonna put on fat. You have to stay away from meats full of fat because we don't wanna put on fat. We wanna get muscle without the fat coming on top of it. So you like, now, I'm getting all the meats in, I'm doing all the right stuff, and it's still not working. Well, listen, I have something for you. Here it is. This is the premium creatine monohydrate by Dymatize, known for its ingredient integrity and consistent quality. You might be thinking, what is creatine actually for? Well, it helps generate ATP, which is your body's main source to power through intensive workouts. By the way, this video is sponsored by Dymatize. I remember taking creatine as an athlete when I was just 19 years old. I went from little Josh to big Josh in no time. But it wasn't no time. I was actually putting in some work, bumping up my protein goals and doing consistent workouts too. Listen, if you're plateauing in strength, not filling out muscle, or feeling flat or low energy during your workouts, then this is your answer for muscle building, strength building, and a performance boost. Creatine is one of the most researched supplements that people look for. It's safe and effective when used properly. That's why you see me in the gym with big energy, always outgoing, and a pump that's out of this world. All you have to do is get 8 to 10 ounces of water, pour it in a cup, add 1 scoop, which is just 5 grams per serving, mix it thoroughly, and it's go time. Now let me tell you what you should expect in the few weeks in the gym with routine and strength training. You're gonna start building muscle and strength to lift heavier with a performance boost. Now, when it comes to muscle growth, creatine can help hydrate your muscles, promoting that awesome pump feeling and helping you push through those last few reps in the gym. You should expect this product to help you with muscle, strength building, high intensity training, and an overall performance boost. And you're probably thinking now, when should I take it? You should take it pre or post-workout. Well, can it be used for men and women? Yeah. Creatine is not gender specific. It's only for people that are serious about gaining strength and size. So let's not make this complicated. This is actually one of the supplements that I highly recommend if you're serious about increasing strength and boosting performance in the gym. I'm gonna put a link in the description below where you can find this product and get yours today. That brings us to our next point. Terrible form, right? You get no isolation, no muscle contraction when you have terrible form. So I see people do all type of bicep curls and any type of workout in general, but with this one in particular, I really hate it because it's a very simple exercise. If I also do these, right? What do you think? What do you think works the most, okay? Do you think me moving my body all type of way? No, it actually works, right? This muscle is really small. So when you have a muscle that's small, you really want to contract it and really isolate the muscle, right? This is an isolated muscle group. So what would I do? I would hold this weight in front of me, all right? I lengthen my arm and I shorten the distance. Straight line, right? When you bring it here, when you move your body, when you come here and you twist, you're doing too much for just a small muscle group, and that can go for any other body part. So what I want straight line direction, all right? I want to get to point A to point B in the best way possible. And from doing that, just lengthening my arm, all right, keeping it straight, keeping it in front of me, and curling to the top. Now, what do I say? Slowly resist it down, make it harder. You can do all of these different type of things. But key point, if your form is bad, you're never gonna get the gains you're supposed to. The next thing you're doing is program hopping. I see my friend at the gym, he's on this app, and I hit him up a few weeks later, now he's on another app. He doesn't have the consistency of following the same program. So what I want you to understand is when you follow different programs, you learn different methods, which is great, but you never get that same program and take it up a notch. You don't get that program and do the same workouts, but switch up the tempo. All that stuff we talk about in the beginning, progressive overload, different tempos, eccentric phases, all that stuff, all you need is the same workouts, but to use them in different training methods, right? So if you program hopping, depending on what your goal is, it could be good. If you want to do hypertrophy, but now you want to switch over to, let's say, like a high rocks, right? Where you're doing conditioning and lifting, that's different. But if you're doing the same workouts but just switching over to another program, that's called program hopping, and you're never going to see the results. One thing I want to point out when it comes to program hopping is not trusting the process. You see, most programs have phases, right? It has levels, it have different tiers of what you need to do week by week so that in a few weeks you can be here. And then once you get here, next phase, we're going to go all the way here. So you might have a phase 1, right? You might have a phase 2, but you say, you know what? I don't trust this. This is boring. I don't see the results. I'm not seeing what I'm supposed to see by this time. I'm just going to say this. It's probably not the program. It's probably you. So I need you to trust the process. By the way, I do have a new app that you don't have to program hop anymore. All right? It has medical, it has mental health, it has all personalized nutrition, personalized coaching. We even work on the spiritual side of things so we can build a transformation overall, not just physically, but something that's really beneficial if you want to make a complete change in your life. All you have to do is go to www.truefitphysique.com and you can apply and see if we're a good fit for each other. One thing that you may not be doing is sleeping enough. This has been the biggest game changer for me. I used to be the guy running on E, just trying to get so much done, be productive. Even though I was still having results, I wasn't feeling right. My energy was still low. I was fatigued. I wasn't performing as well as I could until I started tracking my sleep. Now, I learned that I can perform on 6 hours of sleep. 5 hours of sleep, I'm not feeling it. 6 hours, I can run, but I'm still feeling tired. 7 hours to 8 hours is optimal. I'm feeling like an amazing human being. Like my brain is functioning, my mood is good, like I'm ready to go, like everything is running perfectly fine how the body's supposed to. And guess what? Your muscles will also adapt because they're fully recovered. Sleep is your body's greatest recovery, not all of the supplements, not all of the different treatments. Not saying those don't help, but if you don't sleep, your body's still not going to function the way it should. So if you're not sleeping, I highly recommend you start getting a good 7 hours of sleep. Start setting your bedtime. Start putting yourself on a schedule where nothing else matters around this time. Like this is a non-negotiable. Your wake up time and your sleep time. These should be one of the two biggest things that's going to make you the most productive and also make sure you recovery and perform in the best possible way. The next thing you need to pay attention to is doing too much cardio. You see, I love cardio. I think it's great for your heart. I think it's great if you want to stay lean and just feel good. Cardio is good for you, but if you want to make more gains in the gym, you can't overtrain doing much cardio. Let me paint this picture for you. Think of a soccer player. They're constantly running, high conditioning, high heart rates. And then you think of a NFL player, football player. Yeah, they do a lot of running, but it's mostly like short bursts, right? They're able to maintain size, look big, while the soccer player is always lean, which is good, but it depends on which look are you looking for. If you want to look like me, you can't do as much cardio. I do 8,000 to 10,000 steps a day. I'm still athletic. I still play basketball, but I don't do it every single day. I focus on my lifts because muscle still burns calories at rest. Cardio is active calories, which means you're burning calories lifting plus burning calories by doing these movements. Okay, so you have to choose what you want to do, but don't do too much cardio because you're gonna lose your gains. No, don't do that. Don't let the inner voice win. Did you know that it takes 90 days to create a habit, but it only takes 3 days for you to break it? You see, you go to the gym and you see people 10 years ahead of you, and then you're in the gym just starting and you get discouraged. You feel like, how can I get like them, but I just started? It takes time, right? It takes consistency. But you sitting on that couch and ignoring your alarm, which I think you should have an alarm, You should have a set alarm for your bedtime. You should have a set alarm for your gym time, sometimes your eating time, and you should have an alarm to get up, right? Start creating habits of consistency, which is gonna help you to become less inconsistent, all right? The voice is, say to yourself, create an affirmation. I'm going to do this. I will do this. I'm going to look like this by this time. And you know, if you say it to yourself, you're actually gonna do it. So that's the new inner voice. Let's win. Another issue that you might run into is that you don't track anything. You have no idea what's going on in your fitness journey. You don't track your food, you don't track your sleep, you don't track your steps, you don't know what your heart rate is. There's so many categories that we could be measuring to see if you're getting better in your fitness. And when it comes to building muscle, that's so important when it comes to tracking your calories, your sleep, your steps, so that we can adjust and fix the things that you need to reach your goal. One of the big features that I put in my new app is being able to track your heart health, your steps, your activity level. Also, we have food tracking. You can use different things like MyFitnessPal. You can also use the Whoop, and this is what tracks my sleep. This is what tracks my strain, my stress. All these type of things play a major role in you developing a better physique. Let's be honest, your health is what matters most. So if you're not healthy, you're not sleeping, you have high stress levels, you're probably not gonna put on that much muscle. So I would highly recommend you start tracking all of your progress so that you can get further faster. So I want you to understand, building muscle isn't that hard, but it takes patience, it takes dedication, and you're gonna have to transform your mind to do that. Now, I have a 16-week course that I take you through a full transformation, mind, body, spirit, where you can change your perception, how you look at life. You see yourself like this, but we need to cross you over to the new, like the strong, like the dedicated, the different person that you know you were called to be. So if you're ready to follow a structured plan, something that's gonna change your life and get you to where you wanna be and who everybody around you sees in you and want you to be, and I would like the opportunity to help you reach those goals. You're here with Josh Bailey. If you haven't, make sure you like and subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you on the next one.